There are an estimated, depending on who you ask, 253 million to 285 million people with visual impairments in the world. We heard earlier the number 1 in 26 people. It doesn't really matter how you slice it. The point is visual impairment is highly relevant and it's not going anywhere. And as Jake mentioned, the longer, if we're lucky, we'll all live to have a visual impairment someday. So there was a legally blind Danish craftsman named Hans who, as he was losing his vision back in 2012 and 13 and seeing the advent of technologies like FaceTime and Skype and the ability to run video chat over cellular networks, he started to think about how this tool that I have in my hand, this phone, could become a tool to help you get through your day as a blind or visually impaired person. The thing about being blind is we often need help, but it's not always when people think we need help. You walk out onto the road and someone wants to help you cross the street that you've crossed 100,000 times. But when you're at home trying to figure out which is the beans and which is the tomatoes, there might not be anyone around to help you tell the difference. So Hans came up with a very profound idea, which is, what if I could have a pair of eyes when I needed it, whenever I needed it, for however long I needed, and none other time? Not having to go to your neighbor's house and ask for and feel the obligation to engage them in a conversation just because you wanted to know if you had a can of condensed milk. And in 2000, almost 5 years ago, we launched our platform called Be My Eyes. The next slide is a image of a viral tweet, with an image of a volunteer talking about their experience on Be My Eyes.
I'm sorry, well, this might be deliberate. You might be punking us, but we can't see the slides.
Oh, okay.
We're working on it.
Okay. Well, that's all right. We can be in this together then. So imagine, if you will, an image of from a tweet of the volunteer created took a snapshot of a picture of a carton of almond milk. This is a typical use case on Be My Eyes. Somebody in their home wanted help identifying a product, and this person was able to help. This tweet has got 15,000 retweets within just a couple days. Now, when we started Be My Eyes back in 2000, when we launched in January of 2015, we weren't sure that the community was going to grow in this way. In fact, we launched very quietly because our biggest worry was that all these blind people would sign up to get visual support and that no one would be there to answer the call. That was sort of our nightmare scenario. So we very quietly launched the app, and overnight, in 24 hours, we had 10,000 volunteers sign up. And within 6 weeks, we were present in 30 countries around the world. So we thought, okay, we're onto something here. Not only do blind and visually impaired people want support on their, in their own way, only in the times that they need it, on demand, but there's a tremendous desire to support this community. It's just that no one has given sighted volunteers the tools to support this community. So when in our mind's eye here on this next slide is an image of a globe, some numbers beneath it. Because today, 4.5 years later, the community's grown substantially. When I checked on Sunday, when I updated the numbers on Sunday, there were 2,988,000 volunteers around the world supporting blind and visually impaired people on a daily basis. And when I checked the numbers of visually impaired users, it was at 167,000. in the last 24 hours, we had another 1,200 blind users sign up and another 7,000 volunteers sign up. And we're creeping up just about 4,000 volunteers short of 3 million, which we'll probably hit later tonight. This is a 24/7, Be My Eyes is a 24/7 video service that people are using around the clock in upwards of 175 countries, speaking 180 different languages with each other. When someone presses the Be My Eyes button, it connects them directly with someone who is in a daytime time zone, so we're not waking anyone up, and they speak the same language. And using the power of the camera, the person who can see can describe vividly to the individual whatever they want to look at. It's very simple. Most of the calls are on average 2 to 3 minutes. And our goal is to deliver this sort of visual information and description quickly, easily, and increasingly with some expertise involved. What are the average uses for Be My Eyes? We have anything that you can imagine going through on a daily basis. The most common use cases are food labels. The second most common are probably to do with clothing, believe it or not. We have some real fashionistas on the app who actually use it every day and sometimes several times a day to check to make sure that their outfits are impeccably styled. You know, we've heard stories about people with, blind people with 23 pairs of shoes, and they're constantly trying to match the perfect pair for the perfect outfit. The thing about Be My Eyes is it's totally unlimited and totally free. And so once people realize that they can have a pair of eyes in their pocket whenever they want it, it kind of opens up a new world. The next slide, which is video you're all going to watch in your mind, is a gentleman at the train station in Berlin. And he's talking about how he uses Be My Eyes to make sure that he doesn't miss his train. When he's a IT consultant in Berlin, and when he through the course of his work, he has to travel quite a bit. He has to go to new places. He has to go to new stations that he's never been before to meet people in the field. So when he arrives at a new station, oftentimes he can simply pull out the Be My Eyes app, press the button, in a few seconds, someone answers, someone speaking his language answers, scans across the train platform, says, "I'm looking for the stairs." They tell him where the stairs are, and he's on his way, and that's all he needs. He doesn't need help with anything else. The next slide is a set of tiles and it asks the question of, what are the barriers to travel and tourism that we see our community encountering? Because truly today I'm here to talk to you all about stories from our community and about what people are using this app for, people like this gentleman in Berlin. The truth of the matter is barriers to travel appear for blind and visually impaired people all throughout the journey. There's the simple things about reading print, which is a very common use case for our app. And if you can imagine all instances in which reading print is important in a travel experience. There's tickets, there's schedules, there's reading maps and understanding maps, understanding new sorts of machines, new transit systems, foreign financial systems, not to mention the very simple kind of joy of Be My Eyes, which is that being that it connects you with someone who speaks your language, it doesn't matter what country you go to, you can get someone who speaks English and is in a daytime time zone to describe to you whatever you're looking at. And so it really helps blind and visually impaired people overcome a lot of the barriers associated with foreign languages and just generally being in unfamiliar circumstances.
About 3 minutes. 3 minutes.
The next video that you're going to watch is the story of Winway. who is, there's a photo of Wenwei in a bright red shirt, the big smile on her face, talking about her experience, and I'll send these out to everyone so that you can watch these little clips afterward. Wenwei talks about studying abroad as a college student in Chile. And she realized that Be My Eyes had this ability to walk her around a foreign street. And she could browse the streets of Santiago and figure out what the street vendors were selling. And actually, once she had a street vendor sell her some rotten fruit because they thought they could put one over on her. And she was able to use Be My Eyes to really have someone constantly helping her navigate these very kind of unpredictable street vending situations. I wanted to share also the top 5 use cases that we see in travel with Be My Eyes, because it's not something we do very often, but for the purposes of this conference, I wanted everyone to know the places where people are struggling. The number one thing that we see on Be My Eyes is people shown in travel cases, is people using Be My Eyes when they arrive at a hotel or a place of accommodation. Every hotel room is different. Every Airbnb has a different entry system, and we see this constantly. The other thing that we see is shopping situations. Whether you're in a boutique or a gift shop, whether you're reading a tag on a piece of clothing, Be My Eyes is constantly being used in shopping. Then there's use cases that are almost equally as common, such as finding taxis and Ubers, and navigating to points of interest, and reading menus, which is a huge use case, whether you're at your favorite restaurant where the menu changes every week, or on a cruise ship where you've never been before. These are the ways people are using Be My Eyes all the time, every day. And so the question that we first ask ourselves, and I'll wrap it up here, is how do we support this community? And how do we keep this community sustainable? Because truly, we have hundreds of thousands of blind people using this every day, all day around the clock. It's not free to keep this service going. We realize, though, that just like I talked about those top 5 use cases, every single one of those use cases involves a company and a set of experts. And we realize that our volunteers don't always know exactly how to help, or they don't always know exactly what that technical problem is, or they don't always know exactly where the restroom is on that cruise ship. And so what we did last year in 2018 is we invited companies to partner with Be My Eyes and join the platform and support the community. One of the main ways that companies do this is they get routed into our system, they get a profile in our app, and they get to meet the blind community where they are and actually answer video calls directly, just the way that volunteers do. There's also a whole list of things that come with partnership, corporate volunteering programs. We can allow your teams to volunteer on Be My Eyes at scale. And also to know that by partnering with Be My Eyes, you're supporting a community of millions of people helping each other around the world in every language. And so I'm here today to not only try to give everyone some insight into what the needs are in our community and how you can help blind and visually impaired people travel more independently, but to invite any company who wants to join the platform. We have great partners like Google, Microsoft, Procter & Gamble, banks, and others to talk to me and join us in supporting the biggest community of blind and visually impaired people in the world. So thank you all for listening, and happy to answer questions. Sometimes it's helpful to be blind.
5 minutes for questions, 5 minutes.
Yes, as a totally blind person who has lived independently by herself for the past 7 years, since her husband became an amputee in a wheelchair and couldn't do steps, I just needed a pair of eyes, and you all came to my rescue. I use Be My Eyes on a daily basis. The most amazing thing you all did for me is my smart Ecobee went offline. And you spent 40 minutes helping me get it online. And I did it all by myself. Woo!
Thank you.
And you also
send an email to Amazon and tell them to join Be My Eyes.
And you also helped me pack and put myself beautifully together for this conference. So thank you so much.
You used it today?
Yes.
Thank you.
Lori?
My
sister is blind, and she's been blind for more than 60 years. She's independent as well, and she just wanted me to tell you that I don't know how to use the mic. She wanted me to tell you that she wanted to be here, and that short of learning how to learning how to read Braille when she was a little girl, that Be My Eyes is the best thing that ever happened.
No.
And the people that she talks to every day are the best people.
You're going to make me cry. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay. Yeah. Oh.
Hi there, thank you. This is Susan from Mobility International. Thank you for that mention about the study abroad. My organization is a nonprofit funded in part by the State Department to encourage more people with disabilities to study abroad, volunteer abroad, get scholarships. So we will be definitely taking all this information and putting it out there for other people who study abroad to use this. But I also want to encourage everyone to know that we have lots of free information on our website, miusa.org, about all types of travel and accommodation, which is a free online resource. And I'm looking forward to working with you to maybe encourage some of your folks who are on your platform to think about study abroad and know there's a free resource.
We'd be
So
happy
thank
to
you.
spread the word, yeah. Thank you.
So, Will, I have before another question, we have one here and then one in the back. But how would people here, so here we have probably 25, 30 destination people here. How would they get started? Would it be their customer service staff that would use this? Can you just tell us about baby steps?
Well, when you partner with Be My Eyes, you're basically making a commitment to meet the blind community where they are. And you can run your customer service the exact same way you've run it before. It doesn't matter who's answering the calls. The only thing we do is we give you this enterprise call center software that allows you to answer video calls, whether it's on your mobile device or on your computer. So you're meeting the customer where they are. We're putting together a custom profile for you in the Be My Eyes app and setting automatic opening hours so that you can only be called during certain times. And from there, it's just a matter of you pick who you want to answer your calls. You're the expert in your area, and we want you to be helping the blind people who need help so just email me at will@bemyeyes.com or go on our website and look for the specialized help section of our website and contact us. And we have a whole number of really amazing partnerships brewing, and we're really excited to start working with destinations, large and small.
Hey, Will, it's Natalia from Expedia.
Hey.
Over in the back corner here. And I'm curious, I love that you've invited companies onto your platform and having them participate. And I read something yesterday, an article from a blind person traveling, and they talked about how when people see them ask for help, they assume they're asking for help because they're blind, but they're really often asking for help because the system isn't designed in a way that is accessible for them.
Yeah.
So with companies on your platform, have you seen them start to close the loop with the extra data and information that you're giving them, and how is that helping them fix the system?
Oh, absolutely. That's one of the best things about connecting your company directly with the community, is that you're getting insight into what problems people are running into. We often tell our partners that the less calls you get, the better, because it means that people are encountering less issues. So, for instance, Google, when a blind user calls because they're struggling with something with their phone or something on a computer, and Google identifies that because they can do it visually through the video, they look at it and they say, oh, that's a bug. That's actually a bug with the platform. That's a digital accessibility flag. They're able to flag that and fix it, and so that someone doesn't encounter that problem again. And that's not you can't address those things and get those kind of deep insights when you're just helping someone over the phone.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.